AI is reshaping search as we know it. And with AI search, we now need to start thinking through a new way of approaching SEO, and in particular, a new way of approaching technical SEO. So, in this video, I want to talk about what the new technical SEO needs to look like and what we need to be doing differently. So, AI search is expanding fast. And while people are still predominantly choosing to use Google to search, Google is really different now. Google is including AI overviews on many different search results, and so people are preferring to use the AI overview response instead of clicking to a website listed in the traditional search results. Google's also rolling out AI mode that provides a fully conversational response to a search query, and that's very different. There aren't a list of links there like there are in traditional search results. Now, at the same time, some people are preferring to use tools like ChatGPT or Perplexity as their search engine instead of going to Google. So with all that changing and all the different ways people are searching now, we need to think about technical SEO differently. And I'd point to 3 key shifts to help us understand how we need to revise our SEO strategies. First and foremost, it's no longer just about Googlebot. Sure, Google is still the number one thing people are using, but all these other tools are out there and they are growing and they are expanding. So we need to start thinking about all these other companies and how they're interacting with our websites. So bots from OpenAI and Meta and Anthropic, Perplexity, and other AI tools are all actively crawling our website's content. And these bots, as a result, are now influencing our customers and our customers' buying decisions. Maybe not all of our customers, but certainly a number of our customers are using these tools. So we have to expand our focus to not just think about Google, but to think about all of these bots. And here's the thing, each of these bots behaves in slightly different ways. They all have their own particular way of using our website. So we need to understand what each of these bots is doing, how they're using our website, and what we need to do to support each of these bots. The second big shift that's happening right now is that there are more bot behaviors to optimize for. Technical SEO now really means optimizing websites for 6 distinct behaviors. There's discovery, crawling, rendering, indexing, training, and now interaction. I'll talk about each of those behaviors more later on in this video, but for right now, the shift to understand is that with all these different behaviors out here, it requires us looking at our technical foundations of our website differently and making sure that our website's technical foundation is capable of supporting all the different things that bots are now doing on our website. The third big shift that's happening is that bots are no longer passive observers. They're interactive AI bots that are coming to our website and interacting with our website or doing something on our website on behalf of people. So people don't have to visit our website, bots will visit a website on behalf of those people. That changes a lot of things. It changes how we need to build our websites, because now we need to build our websites not just for the people that may come to our website, but for the bots that may come on behalf of people to our websites. The other thing that changes is the KPIs we need to use. How do we measure the value of our website if people aren't visiting, but bots are visiting on behalf of people? So with all those changes happening, we have to have a new approach to technical SEO. And I'd say the way to understand the new approach to technical SEO is to think about it as supporting bot usability. So with bot usability, we have to think about how bots are using our website. We have to think about how we improve our websites to support all the different things those bots are doing. So to understand this more, let's talk about those 6 different bot behaviors and how they're changing our approach to technical SEO. The first of those behaviors is discovery. So discovery is the most fundamental step of this whole process. And during discovery, bots have to find all the different URLs that exist on our website. So we have to make sure that bots are capable of finding everything that exists on our website, or at least capable of finding everything we want them to find on our website. And one common recommendation here is to add internal links to all the different pages on your website. And that's a big part of it. That's a good recommendation. But it's not the only thing we need to be doing here to support discovery. We also need to make sure that those links that we do add are actually accessible to bots. We also need to make sure that as we add internal links, that the relationships that those links establish between different pages on our website make sense, that those relationships fit in with what we're trying to communicate about the topics on our website. The next behavior is crawling. So crawling is the process of bots fetching content from all the URLs they just discovered. So once a bot discovers that a URL exists, another bot will come back and try to grab content from that URL. So we need to figure out how we can support that fetching process. That starts with determining which pages bots should be able to fetch content from and which pages bots should not be able to fetch content from on our website. But this also requires improving fetch efficiency. We want to make sure that if bots need to grab content from a particular page on our website, they're able to do so as quickly and effortlessly as possible. The next behavior is rendering. So rendering is the process of executing code to fully load a page. You're turning the code you got back from the website server into a functioning web page that somebody can actually interact with or do something with. Now, when we talk about rendering, what we're mainly talking about is executing JavaScript code. And this is where we start running into problems for bots. So bots right now are inconsistent with how they execute JavaScript. Google is able to execute some, but not all JavaScript code on a website. Bing is too, though they're somewhat less reliable than Google. But currently, at least as of mid-2025 when I'm recording this, OpenAI, Perplexity, and other AI tools are not capable of executing JavaScript. So if there's content on a website that's loaded via JavaScript, that content may not be found by Google or Bing, but it will not be found by OpenAI, Perplexity, or other AI tools. And that can present a pretty big problem. So we need to think through how our websites are rendered and if we can change how they're rendered to better support bots. The simple answer is don't rely on JavaScript to load important content, but that's not always possible. So more is usually required to help bots render content correctly. The next behavior is indexing. Indexing is the process of bots figuring out how they should store and organize all the content that they've crawled. So during indexing, Google is going through and figuring out how different pages they found during the crawl relate to other pages they found during the crawl, what topics are discussed on each of those pages. Google also does a lot of evaluation of content, things like helpful content fits in here, where Google is trying to figure out if this page is worth ranking in search results or not. Now, AI tools do something similar to indexing, where they take all the information they found during a crawl and they try and store it in vector databases. So as we think about the indexing stage, we need to make sure that Google is organizing and evaluating our pages correctly. And for AI tools, we need to make sure that they are embedding our content correctly in vector databases. The next behavior is training. So training refers to how AI systems learn from our website's content. And they're learning from our website's content to influence two different things. They're trying to influence their foundational models, but they're also trying to influence their RAGs, their retrieval augmented generation systems. So as we think about improving how bots learn from our content, there's obviously a lot of content-related things that we have to think about here, but there's also a lot of technical things we have to think about as well. It seems like clean HTML structures with a really strong hierarchy might actually make it easier for bots to learn from our content. Some are also thinking that schema may help improve how bots are learning from our content, but there's a lot we don't know here about what we need to do technically to support bots learning from our website's content. So right now, the best advice is to experiment and see what the best approaches are. The sixth and last behavior is interaction. Interaction is a big category and it covers a pretty wide range. It's also a behavior that's changing a lot right now with a lot of new technologies emerging every single day. But broadly speaking, interaction is about AI bots and AI tools being able to come to a website, complete some kind of action on that website on behalf of a person without that person having to visit the website themselves. Now, there's a pretty wide range here of different kinds of bots and agents that are capable of interacting with our website. On the simple end, we have ChatGPT User. So ChatGPT User is capable of going to a website, summarizing content from that website, or extracting some piece of information from that website in response to a user's prompt without that user having to go to the website. There's also more complex actions here, like Perplexity's new Comet browser. So Perplexity Comet can go to a website and shop on your behalf. It can go through the website, add a bunch of items to the cart without the person actually having to go through and do any of that. So the core question within interaction is, how do we build websites for bots so that way bots are capable of interacting with the website on behalf of human visitors without humans having to go to the website at all? There's obviously a lot to explore here across all 6 of these behaviors. AI search is really interesting with how it's changing technical SEO and the kinds of work that we need to do differently. This is the stuff that I'm currently helping clients out with, experimenting and trying to figure out this new world. So if you have questions or you want help figuring out how to approach AI search, please email me. You can reach me at matthew@elementive.com. If you found this video useful, please give it a like. Also, please subscribe or follow me for more information about technical SEO and AI search. Thank you for watching.